biggest regrets when it comes to playing Genshin Impact is the fact that I never took character building seriously. I was always someone who was focused on trying to complete the story as fast as possible, and because story enemies are not as hard as, say, the Abyss or anything else, I really never struggled until the times when enemies started becoming extremely very difficult and level 20 characters could no longer do it. So it all came to a head when all of my regrets reached the heavens, and an entity known as the Game Master gave me a chance to reincarnate into another account with all of the knowledge that I have from my previous account, and I was given a few rules. The first rule is that I had to actually build this account properly and also be able to clear every single combat endgame mode that is available in the game. As well as that, I also have to make 3 fully functional teams that I don't actually need to share characters between. And there are a few other rules that were in place, but I'll tell you guys about these rules later. For now, let's actually start. When I landed in Teyvat once again, the first thing I did was go to get the secret chest that you actually get at the beginning of the game. Not a lot of beginners actually know this, but if you go to this rock and swim over the water, making sure not to sprint, you can actually find a precious chest here. And while I was here, I also decided to check how lucky my account is going to be. Now, this is a personal thing that I do for myself, where the first artifacts that you get in the game sort of tells me how lucky your account is going to be. If you get defense percent, it means your account is trash. If you get something else that isn't defense percent, then we can start to say that your account is a little bit lucky. And in my case, my account actually seems to be lucky. Now, after swimming back to shore, I went back to Paimon, and Paimon led me all the way to the Statue of the Seven. Now, on the way to the Statue of the Seven, I spent my time collecting a lot of chests. The main reason why I'm collecting these chests is because I want to get my adventure rank level as high as possible. And in case you're wondering how I know where all these chests are located, well, I definitely did not spend 3 hours trying to see if I could unlock wishing before I actually met Amber. Moving on. After getting the power of Animal, I was finally free to be able to explore the open world, at least up to the point where I would actually meet Amber. So I decided to take a little detour at this point and head over to this location, first of all to get some chests here, and then over to Stormbearer Mountains, which, even though they are highly dangerous, was essential for me to be able to get some of the materials that I need for one of the first teams that I'm going to make in this game. That team being a hyperbloom team. Now, normally a hyperbloom team consists of mainly 3 characters: 1 dendro character, 1 hydro character, and 1 electro character. And because the 4th slot is normally empty, I can then put any character that I want in that slot, and that free slot is going to the traveler. So the characters that I want in this team are Nahida, Kuki Shinobu, and Kokomi or Barbara. Now, because I do not know when these characters are going to rerun, I'm going to use substitutes for them. So the substitutes are going to be Dendro Traveler, Lisa for Electro, and Barbara, who I know I'm going to get for free later on down the road. Now, I also know that I am able to choose a free 5-star right now because I reincarnated into version 5.0, but I don't know which free 5-star to choose. I'm still debating on whether I should go for Tighnari or for Mona. I think Mona will be better for burst to DPS, but Tighnari is also pretty good on his own. But I'll leave this up to you guys. Which free 5-star should I actually go for? When I got to the Stormbearer Mountains, I started farming for the Vow berries that I'll need to level up Lisa. Along the way, I also fought some slimes, which also enabled me to get some slime drops. Lisa requires the Vow berries and the slime drops in order to level up her levels. Now, because Hyperbloom focuses on the level of the character and also the elemental mastery of the character, I'll be trying to get all of these characters to level 90 as fast as possible. And at the same time, I'll also be trying to raise my adventure rank level as high as possible. Along the way, as I kept on farming these Vow berries, I also made sure to get as many chests as possible and solve as many puzzles as possible. And at the end, I then let my character die.
This is not the end.
And the reason why is because I wanted to get back to the Statue of the Seven. I had actually forgotten to set up something at the Statue of the Seven. It's the ability for the Statue of the Seven to heal my characters up to 100%. It's something that you'll forget later on in the game, but it's very, very essential at the beginning of the game, especially now that I don't have a healer. After getting as many chests as I possibly could, I finally decided to continue on with the story. I met up with Devalin and Venti, who were trying to hash out their own issues, and before I went on to collect Devalin's tear, I made sure to collect all of the lamplight grass that was there because those would be essential for a character that I would need for another team later on down the road. After collecting Devalin's crystal, I finally went on to meet Amber. I helped Amber to clear out a camp of hilitrolls, and then when Amber offered to take me back to the city of Mondstadt, I left her and actually went on to get some other chests that I wanted to get along the way. I also unlocked the Statue of the Seven and I got an Anemoculus for myself. I needed these in order to be able to increase my stamina as much as possible. Now, after I offered the first Anemoculus, I was about to actually go and get the second Anemoculus, the one that they show you when you actually offer the first Anemoculus. But then I remembered that I didn't have a glider, and this was something that I suffered from. I died a lot because I kept on forgetting that I did not have a glider. So I decided to put that plan on hold and actually get some of the materials that I'll need to level up the Traveler. Windwheel Asters, which you can find right around this same Statue of the Seven. So it was good that I was able to kill two birds with one stone. When I got to the city of Mondstadt, I went on to actually get my glider from Amber, which will finally make my life very easy. Then I fought Devalin. After fighting Devalin, I went on to meet Kaya, Lisa, and Jean. And this was finally when I was able to unlock Wishing. After I unlocked Wishing, I immediately went for my first temple. Now, some people would say that it's not right to wish on the beginner banner, but I don't think so. I believe that the beginner banner is actually very good value for you, especially if you're not running any kinds of weird challenges. So my first temple on the beginner banner gave me Noel, and it also gave me Chongyun. And this actually made me very happy because this potentially means that I can actually start to formulate my second team that I will be able to use in this game, a national team. And it's a team that consists normally of 4 characters. It consists of Bennett, Chongyun, Shangling, and Sucrose. Now, some of these character slots can be replaced, and I'll talk about these replacements as we go on with the video. But I was very happy with this. I also decided to go to the Adventurers Guild and also get all of the rewards that I get for getting to Adventure Rank 5. And then it was finally time for me to actually go to the temples with the different characters in order to destroy the sources of power for Devalin. I decided to go with Lisa's temple first because I had 2 objectives in mind. One, I wanted to get the Anemoculus that I wasn't able to get previously because I didn't have a glider. And 2, I wanted to get Lisa as fast as possible because I already talked about how I want to start building a hyperbloom team, which, by the way, is the easiest team to build in the game as of when I'm making this video.
Break it, and we can head home and relax.
Seems probable. Let's deal with it.
After clearing Kaya's dungeon, I decided not to actually go straight to Amber's dungeon because very close by were 2 challenges that I wanted to complete for the Adventurer's Handbook. Now, I haven't gotten the Adventurer's Handbook yet, but I do know that they will be essential. The first challenge is to hunt down a Cryo Abyss Mage, which is very close by here, and the next challenge is to actually hunt a Ruin Guard. So that's exactly what I did. And at this point, I already had sort of like a working team. The idea that I had was to have 2 different teams, a Melt team with Amber and Chongyu, and an Overload team with Amber and Lisa. And the Traveler is there for moral support or for actually applying the elements on other enemies in an AoE. So that's exactly what I did. After I managed to do all of these tasks, I also made sure to unlock some teleport waypoints, and then I went on to do Amber's quest. Now, right after I got Lisa, I decided to level her up, and the leveling pattern that I always use for all of my accounts is a 10 to 20 level difference between my characters. So my main character will always be 20 levels ahead of the other characters behind them. But in the case of Hyperbloom, like I already mentioned, it's a team comp that requires the characters to be at a very high level. So because of that, I made Lisa to be at least 10 levels behind the Traveler, because the Traveler is going to be our source of Dendro, at least until we get another Dendro character. I was a little divided on which weapon to put on Lisa, but I decided to put the Emerald Orb on Lisa because it has the Elemental Mastery stat. Now, I'm hoping to upgrade this either to Favonius or to the Sacrificial Fragment. I don't know which one is better. I think that an Elemental Mastery weapon will be best for her, but because Lisa has a very high costing burst, it's very tricky for me to say whether I should go for energy recharge on her weapon or for elemental mastery. I guess it depends on which of the weapons that I actually get. And before anyone asks, I had not yet gotten the Thrilling Tales. And even if I did have Thrilling Tales, I would put that on Barbara because Barbara will benefit from the HP substats. So with all that said, I finally went on to clear out Amber's dungeon. After clearing out Amber's dungeon, I went on to the Adventurers Guild because I had already gone up a few more levels in adventure rank and I wanted to get my reward. This was also around the time when I finally unlocked the Adventurer's Handbook and I was able to claim a lot of rewards because of it. I then went on to do some other things around the map, unlock some other chests and other things to get my adventure rank level as high as possible before I do Amber's quest and Kaya's quest as well. Kaya's quest went about as easily as you would expect, and so did Amber's quest, except for one little change that has happened to Amber's quest, and I'm very surprised that this change happened. At the final test that Amber is supposed to give you in the city of Mondstadt, it's changed. Like, I'll let you guys see what I'm talking about.
Windborne Traveler, you are required to land at once.
This was not how the quest was in the past, and I don't know why MiHoYo decided that they are going to change this. I really cannot see their thought process behind this, but I'll just leave them be. After doing all this, I decided to progress with the Archon quest. This is actually the quest where we meet Venti and break into the Mondstadt church in order to get the lyre. Now, when we actually get into this place, some beginners don't know this, but there are actually some chests that you can get around here. I spent my time getting these chests. Even though there isn't really much in these chests, the extra Mora and adventurous experience will be nice for getting my character levels up as high as possible. After almost getting caught in the temple and escaping from the temple, we hide out in Diluc's bar. Diluc covers for us and then we explain the situation to him. He brings along Jean, who sides with us, and we go to get some of the things that we require to actually help fix up the Valen.
Can't run from death.
This is also the time when I came across the sword graveyard and I didn't feel like talking to the researcher who would actually give us the quest, so I skipped it by actually going straight to the Hilichurl villages and actually activating the monuments. After activating the monuments and also getting the Valen's tier, I went on to the temple. Now before I actually did the temple, I decided to take a detour to actually activate the wind currents that will allow me to go to the Spiral Abyss, because very soon I will actually be headed to the Spiral Abyss because I want to start getting my 2 guaranteed characters that I get from the Spiral Abyss. After clearing out the temple and getting the other tier, we then get the last tier and then we head back to the bar. After we fix up the Holy Lyre, we decide to go out to call the Valen, but I left the mission and started to head towards Sumeru because I wanted to get a Statue of the Seven in Sumeru as fast as possible. I spent a lot of time unlocking chests that I remember their locations in Liyue while also making my way all the way to Sumeru. I was actually surprised because I actually went to the wrong place in Sumeru. I actually wanted to head over to the Statue of the Seven at Tainari's village, but I landed in the Vimara forest. I don't know how that happened, but it happened, so it's all good and fine. I finally have the ability to teleport over there and now resonate with Dendra. So that's where I'll end off part 1 of the video. These are the current character builds that I have. I put the Traveler on the 4-piece set that allows us to actually heal every time we open a chest, especially since I'm spending a lot of time opening chests and clearing puzzles. It makes sense for most of my characters, not only the Traveler, to have this set on them. Eventually I'll move on to actually putting correct pieces on them, but it was necessary that I did it now. Either way, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the first part. This video has been extremely very hard to make, and if you watch the channel updates you will understand why this video has been very hard to make. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave me any feedback that you have about the video, something I should change, something I should implement in the video, anything that you want me to do with the characters, anything like that. You can also add me up. I've also unlocked co-op because co-op unlocks very early now. So you can add me up. I will not be able to play co-op though until I'm done with the Archon quest. But when I'm done, I'll need your help to be able to carry my characters. But with all that said, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to join the hideout on Discord and subscribe for Wuthering Waves, Genshin Impact, Azure Familia, NTE, and Project Mugen videos. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace, guys.